My girlfriend has a locked room in her house. I don't know what's in it. My girlfriend Amy and I have been together for 5 years, and we're planning on moving in together into her home when my lease is up in 2 months. Our relationship is great. We have arguments, but not often, and we always resolve them like rational people. Amy owns a house, and she bought it about 10 years ago. The city we live in was depressed for a while. Picture Detroit, but not Detroit. Where if you're so inclined, you could buy a big house in a bad neighborhood for a song and dance, and then fix it up and hope the neighborhood would come around, which is luckily what happened to her. It's a big old Victorian house with 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. Usually, we hung out at my apartment since it was near her work, and I don't have a car to get out to her place, but some weekends here and there, I would spend the night. When my job went remote 5 months ago, I started spending a lot more time at her place. It wasn't until after a month I realized the room upstairs has a latch with a padlock on it. I thought it was really weird that it was a padlock and not just a door lock. I mentioned it to her and she said, yeah, I really don't go in that room or use it. What? I mean, I get that it's a big home and she lived in it alone for a long time, so she didn't need the space, but to padlock it like that? I asked her what was in it, and she shrugged and said, stuff. Like it was no big deal. I asked if we could open it since maybe that would be a good space for my home office, and she said no. Now I'm really curious. Yeah, me too. Bodies? Bodies. And it's actually sort of eating away at me. I don't care what's in the room. I just honestly don't get why it's padlocked. That's weird, right? Am I being unreasonable since I'm moving in? I understand the right to privacy, and I wouldn't snoop and couldn't if I wanted to. You couldn't even tell me from the outside since it's on the 2nd floor was in there. But I've been sort of paying attention now if she goes in there or not, and I don't think she ever does. I feel like since I'm moving in, I have a right to know, but do I? I don't want to make her open it, but she's so nonchalant about it and changes the subject so that my mind keeps running away with me and what could be in there. I'm wondering what other people think. What should I do? And if I'm just being unreasonable wanting to know and see what's in this padlocked room, or if I don't have a right to. Our relationship is amazing and perfect, except for this one really weird issue. TLDR, moving in with the girlfriend who has a padlocked shut room she never goes in and she won't open it. Relevant comments. 1. She has 4 children from her previous marriage that she doesn't want you to know about. Her mother's mummified body. She's secretly a slob, and that's where she throws all the unwashed dishes and hoarded cat poop. Number 4, 23 cats. No more, no less, and a lot of cat poop. 5, all of her previous boyfriends and 2 ex-husbands who mysteriously disappeared. That's what I said, bodies. 6, her collection of fingers. They no longer fing. I like that one. 7, a horse. That's why you hear those noises at night. The sound of distant nickering. 8, marijuana farm. That might be plausible. 9, Dracula. 10, satanic altar. 11, BDSM dungeon. Okay. If you see a hook on the ceiling, you know it's for a swing. 12, trafficked people. Bodies. 13, portal to another dimension. 14, TARDIS. That room is huge on the inside. Plenty of room for all the bodies. OP. Cats send me into an almost dying asthma attack, so I think if there were 23 of them, I would know. Okay. Probably not cats then. Their marijuana farm is very unlikely. She's in law enforcement. I mean, federally, we don't know what state they're in. Federally, it's illegal, but state by state, it's not. And on to the update. Here's my update. I never did figure out how to post it. Hello, Reddit. I promised an update to my prior post on the sub. Sorry for no link. I'm on mobile, so not sure how to link it. But if you look in my post history, it's the only one there. I would have posted earlier, but I needed some time to digest things. Okay. I had a long talk with my girlfriend when she got home from work in the morning about the locked room. She tried to blow it off a few times and get out of the conversation until I told her I couldn't move in until she told me what was in the room and I saw for myself. I told her I didn't care what was in there. After posting here, I was more and more convinced that it was probably guns or something related to her work in law enforcement, as that really did make a lot of sense. Eventually, she just broke down sobbing. Oh, is it bodies? Big, giant, ugly sobs like I've never seen before. It was pretty shocking. She's not really a crier. She's a freaking cop. Well, she's in law enforcement. I don't know exactly if she's a police officer, but she's in law enforcement. It took a good 15 minutes before she could even start forming words that I could understand between giant sobs. It was absolutely heartbreaking to see, and I knew as soon as she started crying that it wasn't a room full of guns or work stuff. Actually, the room is empty. There's nothing in there. What? Someone had surmised in the comments of that other post that maybe there was some trauma. I forgot who it was, but unfortunately, they were correct. She was basically a kid at 19 when she bought the house. Like I said, bad neighborhood fixer-upper. And it was dirt cheap due to the city she lived in and those other factors. She had always been smart with money, so she had a big down payment and was planning on taking the rest of her savings to fix it up. I don't want to get specific with details as it's pretty gruesome and also for her privacy. But in her 3rd week living there, she had a home invasion. Oh no. Was she essayed? Oh my god. Oh my god, if that's where this is going. Ugh, I'll put a trigger warning at the front if that's where this is going, but I don't see it going anywhere other than her being sexually assaulted by somebody in there. Okay. Her 3rd week living there, she had a home invasion while she was home in that room, and she was assaulted. She had no money to move and no family around, so she stayed in the room, in the home, not the room. She stayed in the home after buying a security system and locking the door up and planning to just never unlock it and basically never go in that room again. Oh my god, I feel so sorry for her. So there you have it. I was seriously not expecting that at all, and it has been a long week for her, and I feel terrible I made her tell me, but she says that she's glad I know now. She never told me before because she didn't want to, which I totally respect. Also, that is when she decided to start a career in law enforcement to help other people. Absolutely, that makes a lot of sense, and law enforcement needs a lot more people out there who can deal delicately with assault survivors because notoriously police officers and the law in general are not very kind to assault survivors and make things more difficult than they need to be. FYI, I've actually seen in the room and now I don't feel I ever need to. TLDR, girlfriend has locked room in house, turns out to be nothing but bad memories. Oh, I was not expecting it to go there. Yikes. Okay, now for some top comments. I hope Amy got therapy. That, and I hope they both move house. Staying in that house can't be good long term. That room is always going to be a memory of trauma, no matter how lovely the rest of the house is. I mean, you can't always leave the place where your trauma happened, you know? You can't sometimes. Gut punch update. I hope it worked out for them and she's better now. Very much a gut punch. Oof. I always wonder how things are for these kinds of people situations that are posted about such a long time ago. I have no option but to sleep in the same room my ex-husband essayed me in. I don't sleep. 4 hours is a good night. Rooms can hold trauma. I can't wait to sell the house. Yes, and domestic violence and marital assault are very much so problems in modern relationships, and you are even less likely to get heard or be able to convict if you're married to or in a relationship with the person, because they can always just claim, oh, it was just rough or whatever. So there is a ghost in there, but it's not the ghost of a person. Well, what I would say to that is there is actually the ghost of a person in there. It's the person who she was before. That person is dead now. And I'm not saying that to be facetious or to be sarcastic. That is how it feels before and after. Like, there's a life you had before and there's a life you had after, and the person you were before is gone. There is a ghost in there. It's her ghost. It's the ghost of everything she was before 19, and now she's going to live, or whatever had happened, however old she was. It's before. The ghost of before is in there. Oh, yikes. Okay, well, I'm done with this. And I don't need to read any more on it, and I never need to go back into the story ever again. Okay. I think that's going to be it for this episode. I'm drained. I'm tired now. So, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of This Is These have been Reddit stories. I'll be back with some more Reddit stories, either solo or reacting with some more guests soon enough. See you next time. Bye.